I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. We're all thinking it. The Rockets need to hang it up and just go ahead and start the rebuilding process now. And I know a lot of people who are Rockets fans are going to feel a way about me saying that. I know a lot of James Harden fans are going to feel a way about this video. I know a lot of Russell Westbrook fans, all that stuff. Everything I'm about to say in this video, you're going to feel a way about it. Do I care? Not really, because facts are facts. Let's just even highlight the fact that Mike D'Antoni has chunked the deuces at the Rockets organization. He's not coming back. After 4 seasons, Mike D'Antoni is walking away from the Rockets. And to be honest with you, it's kind of messed up because Mike D'Antoni is leaving this type of roster for the next coach. I feel sorry for the next coach that is going to move into the position to be the head coach for the Rockets, because this team, the way it's built, this roster is not fit for the next coach and is not set up in the way to succeed for the next coach that is going to take the place of Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni essentially has screwed whoever is about to come into that position, because this roster is not a championship winning roster. It's actually a pretty dysfunctional roster because it is all just the results of Mike D'Antoni and his small ball experiment. And the experiment is over now, and we know that the Rockets are not going to win with this lineup, with this type of play style, with this type of strategy. It's really no surprise to me that the Rockets couldn't even compete with the LA Lakers with this little small ball gimmick. And I'm not saying that because I'm a LA Laker fanboy. I don't really care about the Lakers, man. No Kobe, no dice for me. I don't really care. I'm not really a big, huge supporter of the LeBron Lakers, even though I respect LeBron. Much respect to LeBron. But let's just be really honest. No team in the history of modern basketball, okay? And when I say modern basketball, I'm talking about from the 90s up until now of 2020. No championship team in the history of modern basketball has ever won a championship without having a legit center on the floor to secure the paint defensively and also secure defensive boards. That just has never been done before. The only team that I can think of in memory that has done this with somewhat relatively of a small ball lineup was the Detroit Pistons with the undersized center and Ben Wallace, and they beat the Shaq and Kobe Lakers and Gary Payton and Karl Malone. That actually was the year that they were really supposed to win 4, to be honest, with that type of talent. But Detroit ended up beating them out and upsetting them, one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. But the difference is, at least Ben Wallace was 6'9". Okay, at least he was 6'9", and he had a pretty lengthy wingspan to be able to play defense and bang in the paint and get boards, But PJ Tucker, y'all really think that the Rockets was gonna win with PJ Tucker at the center? But also the fact that you have an offensive system that is almost damn near solely dependent on shooting threes in high volume, and a lot of the times not that efficiently, especially when you throw Russell Westbrook in the mix. And that's another thing. I know a lot of people are going to hate the fact I say this and the fact that I put this out here, but Russell Westbrook, the reality of it is Russell Westbrook is on the decline. And I'm aware that a lot of people cape and support Russell Westbrook, but Russell Westbrook, let's just look at the facts, is that Russell Westbrook is a 31-year-old going to be 32 years old on his next birthday. And given the fact that how teams played Russell Westbrook in these playoffs or this play-in tournament, I mean, Russell Westbrook has to be one of the most odd fits for this system because he can't shoot. Statistically, the reality of it is Russell Westbrook is one of the worst three-point shooters when it comes to point guards or just guards in general. He literally averaged 25% of three-point percentage from the field this season. And even though to say that he had the highest field goal percentage that he has ever had in his entire career with 47%, but at the end of the day, when you're taking about 4 threes a game and you're averaging 25%, that really hurts a team like the Rockets that are dedicated to the three-pointer, right? So with that being said, Russell Westbrook really did affect the flow when it comes to comparison to what Chris Paul did a couple of seasons ago with the Rockets, because Chris Paul is furthermore a better shooter from range than Russell Westbrook is. So it flowed much better. But in terms of him being on the decline, I'm speaking in the terms of a point guard who has basically made his reputation and has shown that most of his value as a player is being in the paint, finishing at the paint, when it comes to his scoring ability, doing super athletic feats, finishing over big men. That's about to start to decline because, Father Time is undefeated. It happens to every athlete. The older you get, the slower you get, your vertical starts to drop. So really where the Rockets go from here really depends on Russell Westbrook being the other half of this duo and the second most important player to this roster. It really depends on, can he make the mental adjustment to become a better spot up shooting option? Because facts of the matter is, in reality, the Rockets are stuck with Russell Westbrook for the next 3 seasons. Just like the Rockets are stuck with James Harden for the next 4 seasons, because both of them have ginormous huge contracts. So even as they do move into the latter years of their mid-30s, they have these ginormous contracts. And to be honest with you, I don't know the trade value that Russell Westbrook or James Harden even have as they're getting older, because these guys are not young anymore. They are over the hump now as far as moving into their 30s, and they're now aging at their positions. And with that being said, you look at the rest of this roster, I'm really not sure what the Rockets can do to move pieces and acquire pieces to actually keep contending in the Western Conference. Because watching the NBA bubble has really showed me that a lot of teams with their draft picks and their processes are starting to pay off, because there are a lot of teams in the West that are a problem. The Blazers are a problem. The LA Lakers, of course, are a problem. All right. Even the Pelicans, from how they structured and the moves that they made, a lot of people thought that the Pelicans were going to fall off after Anthony Davis, but then got Zion Williamson and that young core that they have. They're looking like a problem in the next couple of seasons. Of course, Utah, they always competing, and just it's a lot of teams, dude, in the West that are on the come up, and the Rockets are kind of just holding on by a string. And I gotta give credit where credit is due. The Rockets have done a really good job of staying afloat, given the fact that they have made horrible, and I do mean horrible, front office decisions with roster management when it comes to the fact that they signed Chris Paul to that $150 million contract and then managed to get rid of him, send him to OKC, then got Russell Westbrook. They went over the luxury tax to keep Clint Capella because his contract expired and they needed to re-sign him because they wanted to keep a center. But then they got rid of Clint Capella and sent him off to Atlanta, and it's just like they just managed to stay afloat. And then they went down to this small ball thing, and they still I guess you can say somewhat look like they had a chance. But seeing how this season has played out and seeing that D'Antoni is not coming back to still manage this experiment that he has created with the Rockets, I think that D'Antoni has left the Rockets in disarray, and I think it's about to be a literal roller coaster train wreck coming with the next coach, because literally that coach is going to come in and try to undo everything that Mike D'Antoni, or he's going to have to undo everything that Mike D'Antoni has left, because it's not going to fit. I don't see anybody getting into that coaching position and still be able to run that team the way it was structured to fit D'Antoni's play style. But to say all that, I feel sorry for James Harden. James Harden, it seems like his career is about to just play out as one of the greatest regular season players to ever come into the league, one of the greatest scorers to ever come into the league, but he just could only do it in the regular season. He could never get it done in the playoffs. But if I was James Harden, to be honest with you, I would be looking for a trade like ASAP. Like, I would be trying to look at my other options, because the Rockets are never going to win a championship. And that era of the Rockets with James Harden, I think it's come to an end, man, or it's coming to an end. But what you guys think in the comment section? Let me know your thoughts. You're probably angry. Let me know about those too. But anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one.